Please tell me you're not recording right now. He
You
is?
don't know who knows.
Oh my god.
I was going to say Bay, you know. It came out. And trust me, it's going to be worth it because this moment out here is. Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of GTC Curated Bites. I'm your host Preet, aka Chubby Guzzler. And guess what? This is our very third episode today and an exciting one. But first, on a quick note, let me tell you guys one thing. Starting this podcast was kind of an idea which turned into a dream. So if you have an idea, please write it down, look at it every day, and surround yourself with a team just like I do that motivates you every single day to do it. So, and that's exactly how I got here, and trust me, it's worth it. Let's talk about today's guest. She's a woman who proves that you can really do it all, starting from engineering to jewelry design, and now making waves as a food entrepreneur, recipe developer, and content creator. You know what I love about her? She's a woman who proves that you can literally do it all, just with a little bit of salt in it. So let's welcome Nikita Shah, the founder of Salt and All.
Thank you so much. That was a lovely introduction, and thanks a lot for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So, Nikita, we've got a lot of things to cover today, right from breaking the label of food influencer to how are you staying relevant in this ever evolving space. So, let's dive deep into this podcast. But before we go there, let's ask you for your favorite drink of choice for this podcast that is going to keep you up.
So, I think what gives me that energy booster is a good cup of coffee, cold coffee, but don't laugh at me. I like it with a lot of sugar in it. So, yes, that's my drink of choice.
That's fine because at this podcast, we always have a lot of food, we always have everything ready. So, we've got your cold coffee right there for you.
Great. I'm excited.
So, Nikita, you have such an interesting background. Like, I'm inspired. You started as an engineer to a jewelry designer, and now you're a full fledged food entrepreneur and recipe developer. So, how did this transition happen, and what sparked your journey into food?
So, I've always enjoyed cooking. Okay, it's always been my passion, hosting people, and just cooking for people and feeding people. But I was always also a science nerd, and that's why I did engineering. And then I finished it in London. I came back to Bombay, and there's always been a creative bone in me. And my mom was doing jewelry designing, so I started doing jewelry designing with her. And then lockdown hit, and everything had to go on a standstill. But I started cooking, which was always my passion, and that's how Salt and All started because I started posting recipes. Everyone started appreciating it, and rest is history, I would
And I
say.
think I've seen this, especially with the engineering background that you have. I think it's really important when it comes to creativity and this engineering into the dishes that she's actually, developing, the recipes that she's actually developing, right?
Yeah, because that, I mean, even if there is a lot of intuitive cooking, there is a lot of science behind why something is added first or last to a particular recipe. So, no matter what you say, technicality is pretty much everywhere.
So that's such a cool shift, Nikita. So now let's talk about labels. Now that you know you're in the food space, do you consider yourself more of a food influencer, or now that you see yourself more as a food entrepreneur? What do these terms actually mean to you, and whom do you relate to much more?
So, to be very honest, I think the term influencer has been pretty much blown out of proportion.
Right.
There is a very definite meaning to it, but there have been so many conversations about who is an influencer and who isn't. I personally feel that if I call myself an influencer, I should be able to influence my audience into buying something that I am endorsing.
Right.
And that's when I can truly call myself a food influencer. So, even though I know that right now I do have that effect on my audience, maybe in some way, I still personally feel I prefer being called a food entrepreneur or a content creator over a food influencer.
And how do you think that difference is there? I mean, I will tell you guys this one thing, and I don't know if you remember, the first time I met Nikita was at the launch of this international coffee brand in Bombay. I'm not going to name it right now, but we had met there via a friend.
Okay.
And I asked you, like, we just introduced, we didn't know each other.
Yeah.
And I asked you, okay, what do you do? And you asked me, oh, okay, I think you had attended Lola at the food park, and
Yeah.
you were talking about the food court out there. And I asked you, what do you do? And you told me, oh, I'm a, I have Salt and All, it's my blog and this. And I'm like, oh, is she just a blogger?
Yeah.
And I did not know it back then. I will not lie, guys. I went back home. I literally went and followed her. I saw the millions of people who were following her. So many of my friends actually knew her. My sister is a big fan of you.
We are at only thousands right now.
I mean, for me, it looks like millions only when I compare anything
Thank you
else.
so much.
But, I actually went and told my sister this as well. And she literally told me, she's like, I follow her and her recipes all the time.
Yeah.
And that's the influence I think that you have, because my sister stays in Dubai, and a friend of mine who lives in the US, she herself told me that she really does follow you. And that's when I realized that there's just so much more to this whole taboo of being a food blogger or an influencer.
Yes.
And there's just so much more that we can actually understand as to what goes into this.
That's so true. Because even blogger, to be honest, bloggers were people who would actually blog about food and write detailed things on websites. Instagram is not technically blogging,
Right.
according to me.
Yeah.
In my knowledge.
Right.
So I think content creator is like the best crisp term that you can give for anyone who's creating content and dishing it out there.
So I totally agree with this, because people often forget that behind every post or every recipe, there's a whole strategy and vision that goes behind it. And that's what, you've been doing. So speaking of strategy, let's touch on something that I guess every content creator goes through, and that's likes, comments, and staying relevant in this industry. So how important are these metrics to you, and how do you keep your content authentic, at the same time relevant, keeping up with the current trends?
So like you said, likes, comments, shares, saves, there are so many metrics like you said, and of course it's like a rat race because you're always looking for that million view recipe and
Yeah.
all of that. But unfortunately Instagram is not so kind, I would say, and sometimes it gets difficult and you get consumed by all these metrics. But
Yeah.
there was a point where I think I would get really affected if a particular post did not perform well. But now I feel like if I have put out something that I am content with, then it's fine if it doesn't perform. Eventually, it will reach the right people, and it will hopefully be recreated at someone's house. So in terms of trends, I personally don't like posting trending recipes because there are already so many content
Yeah.
creators doing it. So I like to keep my niche, which is easy recipes with a quick twist, and I like to stick to that. I think having a niche in this pool of content creators is very important.
Yeah.
Because if you are trying to be someone else, you will never succeed, and people will not follow you for something different.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone is looking for, right? So
if I have to ask you, especially for our viewers out here, what is your niche for Salt and All?
So I don't like spending a lot of time in the kitchen. It is hot. It is too time consuming. So I am a quick cook. I like to do a quick fix, which is a fun, easy to make recipe with ingredients that are available in my pantry that I don't have to go out to purchase. And it has to be easy, and mainly it has to have a fun twist to it so that it's not like your regular recipe. So,
Nice.
I mean, the puri is like super crispy. The spices are intertwined over here.
Okay, so now it's time to explore the most fun segment of this podcast, and that's the GTC tasting segment. So,
Excited.
yeah, so Nikita, we always explore something new with our guests, of course, with food. And today, what we are going to be doing, today's theme is croissant or corn. So
Love
we've
it.
got these delicious savory and sweet croissants from this brand that we really love. I'm not going to reveal the name right now, but yes, you're going to love it for sure. So yeah, here's the catch. I'm going to share a common stereotype about the food world,
Okay.
and you're going to tell me whether it's the truth or it's lies. So that's going to be, if it's true, you take a bite of the croissant, your
Okay.
favorite one, and if it's a lie, then probably you'll have to wait.
Can I eat these irrespective?
That can be later, depending on how many truths or lies that we
Yeah.
have. So let's begin this session of croissants or cons. Here is my stereotype, and tell me if that's true or no. Food influencers get all their ingredients for free from brands. Is that a croissant or a con?
That is a major con. We do get gifted a lot, but we prefer buying good quality ingredients that we want to use in our organic daily recipes, So, yeah.
So okay, wait. Let's keep these waiting for now. Next question. You recipe developers actually never eat the food that they create.
Have you seen me? This is all because of everything I cook. Of course, we eat it. Because otherwise, I'm just a hypocrite posting recipes that I don't try myself, right?
So that's
And-
definitely a con. I do agree, because how can you
Yeah.
resist your delicious
Your-
recipes? I mean, I've
exactly.
eaten your food, so I know
Yeah.
no, that's definitely a con. Okay, so now moving to the third question. All the food influencers or recipe developers get free products all the time from brands.
Yeah, like I said, we do get a lot of free products. There's no doubt about that. But, and the problem is that it's never free because we are always technically expected to do something in return, like a story shout out
Right.
or maybe
Yeah,
a
that comes.
reel or, something. So there's nothing free in this world, So, yeah.
But if
I
you're
guess.
getting that for free, then I mean, all worth it. But I'm
Yeah.
very excited because now we can finally take the first bite
Yes.
of the croissant. And which one are we going for?
So I'm going for the savory one.
Okay.
I think, should we try the jalapeno cheese?
Done. Let's
Yeah. I'm going for it.
go for it first. Everyone can see how excited I am about this. How is it?
So good. And I've had it before. It's just amazing.
It is. Okay. So let's hope we have more of these croissants now. The next question is, as a recipe developer and content creator, you produce most of your content within 1 hour. Can you do that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
This is not a yes for the croissant, but I do. That's because my recipes are easy to make in real time. In real time, ideally not more than 30 minutes. So
cheers to having making all your recipes in 30 minutes, because now I'm going to go for the coffee croissant out here, guys. This looks amazing. And which one are you going for?
I'll get the peri peri. Cheers. It's so good.
Love it. So the last question is that food influencers only post what brands pay them to post. Is that a croissant or a con?
Well, it's an in between, to be honest. Earlier, I feel like I didn't have the liberty to say no to a brand, and I feel now I do.
Yeah.
So, because like we discussed earlier, I'm more careful about what I am endorsing because I feel like now I am influencing people. So, it's better to be careful about what you post, how you post. Even if they have a product, I post it in my own way because I want to keep it true to my profile. So,
Right.
yeah.
So this was the end of our very exciting GTC tasting segment, and we couldn't have had a better sweet and savory end to it. All thanks to House of Amel for these amazing croissants, which
They're so
really has
good.
fueled us. I mean, it's my favorite all the time. So yeah,
There's
let's just.
hardly any left now.
But let's finish. I have my chocolate one left.
Okay, I'm gonna go in for the jalapeno again.
Let's
Cheers.
forward. Okay, so guys, let's start with our very next segment, which is our rapid fire round. But today I'm going to have a little twist out here, and we're going to be throwing a few scenarios at you. So this game is called the Label Breaker.
Okay.
I'll be throwing in some kind of scenarios, and you will have to tell me whether you'd approach them as an influencer, a food entrepreneur, or maybe a mix of both. So are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. You're launching your own kitchen product line.
Food entrepreneur or any kind of entrepreneur for sure.
a brand approaches you for a collaboration, but the product does not align with your personal values?
Influencer,
Influencer.
because then I would probably be able to say no.
Okay, that makes sense. You're developing content for a viral trend that's taken over Instagram.
Influencer, hands down.
Now you are considering launching your own recipe book, and I know that is kind of true right now.
Yeah.
So, how do you see that?
Entrepreneur for sure.
You're hosting a cooking class or a workshop.
That is a mix of both, because you influence to bring more people, and you are an entrepreneur because you want to make business out of it.
While responding to your followers, what do you see? Like, how does that fit into this entire thing?
I think that's with an influencer angle only.
And lastly, you're going to be creating, hopefully, some content for a food festival that GTC is curating.
Oh,
So,
entrepreneur all the way, just like Preet, just like
I
you.
thought this would be, I was really hoping you would say this would be influence out here.
Oh, sorry.
But never mind.
My bad.
Good to know. Good to know. But yeah, so yeah, here we are done with another segment, and I hope you enjoyed this. You performed quite well, I must say.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, Nikita. This was just such a fun conversation. But before we sign off, one last question is, what's your approach to staying relevant, especially in such a fast-paced space of food, where you constantly have to make sure that you stand out?
So, I think the best way to stay relevant is to be true to yourself and to actually be what you are on social media. I think that's very important, because if you pretend to be someone else, you're going to get tired of pretending.
Right.
If you are yourself, it never fails. You'll never get bored, because you'll be growing, and that's how your page and everything will grow as well. And I have tried, making something that someone else made because it worked for them, and it's never worked for me. And the only thing that works for me is what I truly believe in.
Right.
So I think that's very important for anyone who's out there in the content space. Uh, get your niche and just make sure you stick to that, and you have your own unique voice.
That's perfect advice, and I'm going to vouch for this because Nikita is actually one of the most authentic content creators I've come across. I've come across many over the past 7-8 years that I've been in this industry, and thank you so much. I'm so happy that I could actually share this, space with you and bring out your story. And before we sign off, this is something that we always have a specially curated GTC hamper with some of our favorite products and also from some of the brands that we love.
Okay.
And I hope you like them too, and hopefully they should be featured in your upcoming content.
Thank you so much. Oh, that's
So,
lovely.
Here we have a little
Thank you
something
so
for you.
much. Thanks a lot. Thank you
Nikita.
so much for having me as well. This was quite a fun conversation, I must say.
And the croissants, of course.
Yeah, all the eating and talking has been fun.
So thank you so much, Nikita, for joining us today. And for all our listeners out here, make sure you check out Nikita's platform, Salt and All, where you can check out all her delicious recipes and creations. And do remember that you always really, really do need salt in all the things that you do in life. So until then, stay hungry, stay curious.